Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes several schools under investigation for allegedly failing to protect Jewish, Muslim students. Fewer cousins marrying in Bradford, study suggests. Can African soybeans help ease China's reliance on U.S. to feed insatiable demand? Japan's Kishida, Korea's Yuntok Tech, cooperation in Silicon Valley. Cornell and Columbia under DOE probe for anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Several schools under investigation for allegedly failing to protect Jewish, Muslim students. Wall Street Journal. The U.S. Education Department is investigating several schools over reports of harassment against Jewish and Muslim students in response to ongoing campus tensions related to the Israel-Hamas war. The department is investigating Columbia University, Cornell University, the University of Pennsylvania, Wellesley College, Lafayette College, the Cooper Union for the Advancement of Science and Art, and the Maize Unified School District in Kansas. College campuses have become a hotbed for tension following Hamas's October 7 attack on Israel, with protests often drawing national attention. Jewish and Muslim advocacy groups have reported more harassment, intimidation, and assaults around the country since the attack. Fewer cousins marrying in Bradford, study suggests. BBC. The number of people in Bradford's Pakistani community who have married a cousin has fallen sharply in the past 10 years, a study suggests. Higher educational attainment, new family dynamics and changes in immigration rules are thought to be possible reasons. 10 years ago, researchers studying the health of more than 30,000 people in Bradford found that about 60% of babies in the Pakistani community had parents who were first or second cousins, but a new follow-up study of mothers in 3 inner-city wards finds the figure has dropped to 46%. The original research also demonstrated that cousin marriage roughly doubled the risk of birth defects, though they remained rare, affecting 6% of children born to cousins. In just under a decade, we've had a significant shift from cousin marriage being, in a sense, a majority activity to now being just about a minority activity, said Dr. John Wright, chief investigator of the Born in Bradford Research Project. Can African soybeans help ease China's reliance on U.S. to feed insatiable demand? South China Morning Post. China is looking to Africa to meet its demand for soybeans, used in pig feed, as it seeks to diversify its sources of grain away from the U.S. South Africa, which last year signed a protocol allowing it to export soybeans to China, saw its first shipment to the country leave Durban in October. According to the South African Agriculture Department, 18 companies and 162 storage facilities have been approved to export the crop to China. Other African countries already exporting soybeans to China include Zambia, Tanzania, Benin, and Ethiopia. China is the world's biggest consumer and importer of soybeans, and is expected to import 97 million tons of the crop in the 2023-24 marketing year. The Asian countries' main sources of soybeans are the US, Brazil, Russia, and Argentina. Japan's Kishida, Korea's Yuntok Tech, cooperation in Silicon Valley. Yahoo! South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida have pledged cooperation on clean energy supply chains, quantum computing, and other innovative technologies. The two Asian leaders have been working to improve ties between their countries, which have been strained in recent years. They met several times this year, including at a summit with U.S. President Joe Biden in August. Washington has been keen for its two key Asian allies to mend relations in the face of an increasingly aggressive China and the nuclear and missile ambitions of North Korea. Cornell and Columbia under DOE probe for anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. The Independent. The U.S. Department of Education is investigating several top universities, including Cornell and Columbia, for allegations of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. The investigations are part of the Biden-Harris administration's efforts to protect students from discrimination and hatred. The DOE did not specify which incidents are being investigated, but campuses across the U.S. have seen an increase in tensions related to the Israel-Hamas conflict, with students of various backgrounds being targeted, harassed, and threatened. The Anti-Defamation League has reported a 400% increase in anti-Semitic incidents since the war began. Trump and Biden take shots at each other, looking past rest of GOP field. Washington Post. President Biden and former President Donald Trump, a year before the 2024 election, are attacking each other in an increasingly direct and personal fashion, often ignoring the rest of the Republican field and telegraphing their view that the general election has in essence already begun, with themselves as the nominees. Ole Miss staves off another upset attempt foiling Sam Houston 70-67. Associated Press. Mississippi narrowly avoided an upset, defeating Sam Houston 70-67 in a close game. Alan Flanagan led the team with 23 points, while Matthew Morrell added 15 points. Jalen Murray's three-pointer gave Ole Miss a 2-point lead with 65 seconds remaining, and they held on for the win. Ole Miss struggled from beyond the arc, shooting 3 for 18, but made up for it with strong free throw shooting, going 27 for 34. Devon Barnes led Sam Houston with 22 points. This win follows Ole Miss' close victory over Detroit Mercy earlier in the week. The Rebels will play their first road game against Temple on November 22. How authorities traced the identity of the woman with the flower tattoo. The Guardian. Thanks to a groundbreaking cross-border operation, the body of a woman found in a river in Antwerp, Belgium in 1992 has been identified as that of Rita Roberts, a 31-year-old from Cardiff. Earlier this year, Interpol launched a campaign, Operation Identify Me, to try to solve the case of Roberts and 21 other women who were murdered across Europe. The campaign released details of the cases, including distinctive tattoos, that were only available to law enforcement agencies. A relative of Roberts saw the image of her flower tattoo on a news website and alerted the authorities. Operation Identify Me has not only given Roberts' family closure, but also allowed Interpol to gather leads on other cases. The operation is a reminder of the limits of police work in the pre-internet age. Laurent said, "It's always easy to think 30 years later, this country should have done that. But there was no internet, DNA work was in its beginnings." The Belgian Forensic Institute started in 1993, the year after the body was discovered. Countries were not necessarily collaborating in terms of police information. Everything was on paper. Stojakovic scored 18, leads Stanford past Eastern Washington 97-70. Associated Press. Stanford's men's basketball team defeated Eastern Washington 95-70 on Friday night. Freshman Andrei Stojakovic led the Cardinal with 18 points, while Michael Jones scored 15 points and Maxime Reynaud scored 14 points. Ethan Price was the leading scorer for Eastern Washington with 19 points. The win comes after Stanford's upset loss to Santa Clara earlier in the week. McDowell football runs past State College 47-20 in PIAA opener. Yahoo! McDowell High School's football team, led by Dom Berarducci, Aiden Probst, and Blaze Myers, defeated State College in the first round of the PIAA Class 6A playoffs with a score of 47-20. Treason and bribery: a history of House expulsions. BBC. The U.S. House of Representatives is considering expelling New York Congressman George Santos after a damning report detailed evidence of corruption and fraud. If the resolution is approved, Santos would become only the sixth member of the House to be expelled. Most politicians who find themselves in trouble resign from office before being expelled, but Santos appears to be unusually stubborn. The most recent expulsion occurred in 2002 when Ohio Congressman Jim Traficant was forced out by a vote of 420-1. Traficant was convicted of bribery, tax evasion, and racketeering but still ran for his old congressional seat from prison. He died in 2014. In 1980, Philadelphia Congressman Michael Myers was expelled from the House after being videotaped accepting a $50,000 bribe. Myers refused to resign and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Santos is facing expulsion prior to a criminal conviction and does not have the political alliances that could protect him. Holmes has 20 points, 10 rebounds and Scalia 22 points in number 18 Indiana women's 112-79 win. Associated Press. Number 18 Indiana defeated Murray State 112-79 in a women's college basketball game. Mackenzie Holmes recorded her 21st career double-double with 20 points and 10 rebounds. Sarah Scalia led the Hoosiers with 22 points. Indiana shot 54% from the field, made 21 of 28 free throws, and out-rebounded Murray State 49-34. The Hoosiers bounced back from a previous loss to Stanford. Caitlin Young scored 18 points for Murray State. Indiana will next face Lipscomb, while Murray State will host Bellarmine. California college teacher charged with involuntary manslaughter in death of Jewish protester. Wall Street Journal. Loai Al-Naji, a Southern California college teacher, has been charged with involuntary manslaughter and battery following the death of a Jewish protester earlier this month. Al-Naji will be arraigned on 2 felony charges, and authorities have not ruled out the possibility of a hate crime charge. The investigation is still ongoing and the district attorney has said that they will need additional evidence to determine whether the altercation included words that demonstrate a hatred toward a specific group. Washington vs. Oregon State, predictions, picks and odds for Saturday's game. Yahoo! The number 5 Washington Huskies, 10-0, 7-0 in conference, take on the number 10 Oregon State Beavers, 8-2, 5-2 in conference, in a game that could have massive repercussions for the Pac-12 title game. That's all for today's news. We covered a range of topics, from investigations into schools failing to protect Jewish and Muslim students, to the decline of cousin marriages in Bradford's Pakistani community, to China's search for alternative sources of soybeans in Africa. We also discussed the efforts of Japanese and South Korean leaders to improve relations, the ongoing feud between President Biden and former President Trump, the passing of Booker Prize-winning novelist A.S. Byatt, and the identification of a murder victim through a groundbreaking cross-border operation. In sports news, we shared updates on college basketball games and a high school football playoff. Lastly, we discussed the charges against a California college teacher in the death of a Jewish protester and the upcoming Washington versus Oregon State game. It's clear that tensions on college campuses related to the Israel-Hamas conflict have escalated, leading to investigations into schools failing to protect Jewish and Muslim students. It's important to address these issues and create a safe and inclusive environment for all students. Meanwhile, the decline in cousin marriages in Bradford's Pakistani community reflects changing attitudes and new dynamics within the community. It's a positive change that may contribute to improved health outcomes for future generations. China's search for alternative sources of soybeans in Africa highlights its efforts to diversify its grain imports and reduce reliance on the U.S. This move could have significant implications for global trade and agricultural markets. Additionally, the efforts of Japanese and South Korean leaders to improve relations amidst regional challenges demonstrate the importance of cooperation and unity in the face of common threats. In the world of politics, it's no surprise that President Biden and former President Trump are already attacking each other as they position themselves for the 2024 election. It seems they're both eager to make their mark and secure their place as the party nominees. As for the arts, the passing of A.S. Byatt, a highly acclaimed novelist, is a loss for the literary world. Her works will continue to inspire and captivate readers for generations to come. Remember, your opinions and thoughts matter too. Feel free to share your ideas and join the discussion. What are your thoughts on the investigations into schools failing to protect Jewish and Muslim students? Do you think China's search for alternative soybean sources in Africa will have a significant impact on global trade? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.